So did the Dalai Lama have something about him that was otherworldly or supernatural?
He had an ethereal glow, I'll tell you that much, Norm. He was glowing right at me. So, like, when I met him, I thought, yeah, you could tell. He sort of, first as soon as I see him...
glow a little.
Well, that's because I'm working on my messianic undercurrent.
You are. You're more like half devil, half...
I'm a pan-like trickster figure.
Yes.
I'm morally ambivalent. You don't know where I'll take you.
That's for the women.
Yeah, satyromaniac. Satyromaniac is the male equivalent of a nymphomaniac. That means you love it.
You love...
Hullabaloo, monkey business, what's name? Skullduggery, tomfoolery.
You guys, we're talking about sex, right?
That's right, Adam. SEX, that thing with the girls. Don't mind if I do. See you in a week. Well, satyromania.
No loss in sex drive with your age.
You've got to somehow try and devote that sexual energy to higher things, but it does like to park itself vaginally.
Sure does.
Because you're so creative, so it takes away from your creative.
Do you think it does?
Well, you only have so many hours in a day.
Right, yeah, I suppose so.
Are you going to be writing Bookie Wook 3, or are you going to be trying to seduce Kate Middleton?
Bookie Wook 3 will be more of a success if I do seduce Kate Middleton.
Oh, that's true. It all works together.
I nicked her. She was pregnant. She didn't give a monkey. She came with me like I was Gypsy Davy out of a Woody Guthrie song. She came with me all pregnant. We just galloped off on a stallion. She didn't care. We just wore leather gloves and ate by a campfire. I'm vegetarian, love.
Somebody told me you were with Posh Spice.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I was a Posh Spice.
Oh.
No,
He was Old Spice. Is that an old joke? It has to be.
Must be, mustn't it? It's like such a easy amalgam. It must have been done, Norm. We can't be pioneers here on this country. No. Is there any thought funk?
I read a thing that and this seemed like just an excuse for plagiarism, but I read a thing because I read a lot of literature, and they said, well, there's no new thought. So the idea is be as educated as you can on literature, and then put the ideas together.
Oh, really? No, I don't agree with that. You'll get there in the end through reflection and meditation. Give yourself a superficial knowledge in a few topical areas, like the autodidact's way, like even knowing the word autodidact.
Well, you're an autodidact, it seems. You told me at 15 you were gone.
15 out of school, everything.
And I was out of school at 15.
We're a couple of autodidacts sat here together.
We have a lot in common and a lot not in common.
That's right. There is definitely, in the Venn diagram of our existence, there is definitely a grey area of crossover. Seems to be some sort of comedic, twinkly, tragic thing.
I lived on the street. Did you ever live on the street?
No. No, I didn't have to go and live on the street.
Okay.
There'd be a house there, come off the street, go into it.
You always had a house. That's nice.
Absolutely. Even when I was what you'd call homeless in terms of no fixed abode, no residency, I always had a certain degree of manipulative ability that would allow me to get onto someone's sofa or snide my way.
Well, I would be in a house.
Sheets.
This is how I'd often get in houses. I would go to the I would go to the bar at noon.
That's too early.
This is what happened to me once. You want to hear a sex story?
Sure.
I went to a strip bar at noon. So I was sitting there drinking a beer. No one there.
How was the vibe? Yeah, flat.
No one there except the stripper. So the stripper, she's dancing for me.
But you can hear the sound of her shoes on the floor. It's grim. It's real.
So she's talking to me because it's too embarrassing not to. And then between songs, I'm buying her $12 beers and so forth. And it's about 1 o'clock. This is in Winnipeg, Canada. 40 below, very cold. And she says, let's go have sex.
Lovely. Best possible outcome.
Yeah. So I say, fine and dandy. Now, I'm living with a girl, though. So I say, well, I can't do that.
There.
So what about you? Oh, she's living with a guy.
Oh.
And it doesn't matter what color he is, but...
No, it doesn't.
No. But it was a frightening color.
Really? It's a colour with connotations to you, a man that grew up in rural Canada.
Exactly, and I'd never seen that colour.
What was he?
On
a jagged purple man.
A
zebra creature.
He was an Indian.
Well, they're very peaceful folk, I mean, prejudicially.
Yeah, they're not holding a tomahawk. So I'm scared, So she's like, but let's go in the parking lot where I have a Trans Am. This is how old I am.
It's odd because it's both sort of desperate but somehow glamorous.
Yes, it seems sort of sexy. but it was 40 below. So we get out there. Now she's wearing a big, giant parka with a
She's
hood.
a different woman now.
Yes, now her body, you can't see it. So we get in the blinding sun of Winnipeg, the whiteness of the snowbanks, and we're in the inner Trans Am.
It's about 1 o'clock now.
Yes.
In the afternoon.
About 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. And we're in the Trans Am, and she puts her head down on my bag thing, you know. Now, I can't even, all I see is a big hood. I don't even know if it's a lady. I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to remember what she looked like 20 minutes ago.
Trying to conjure up the recent memory of a sexual thrill while sex is happening.
Yeah, while sex is happening. It was like my cock was being sucked, but I had no idea.
It's like an Arctic experience. It was like Empire Strikes Back, Hoth Battle Gear blowjob. Like when they're in the snow planes, what value is the fellatio?
I've never seen those films.
You've got to see the Star Wars films, Norm. They're an important part of your culture.
I saw one, and then everybody made fun of it, and I was like, I thought it was the greatest thing I ever saw. It was the one that everybody made fun with Jar Jar Banks. Jar Banks.
You were out of alignment. You were out of alignment
fish
with the
were eating other fish. It was amazing. Hey, Life of Pi, though. What do you think of that?
I don't know. I mean, it seems nice. I don't know. So I was tired that night. Listen, I want to say that thing you're describing about that lady in that, in that
parka.
Trans Am.
Yeah, parka in a Trans Am. Glamorous naked, then a layer of unglamour, then the Trans Am glamour, then the cold snow, not glamour. It was sort of like Russian dolls of alternating ideas.
It had a MC Escher vibe.
Yes, it was like an Escher, an endless spiral, a repeating image, devouring consciousness. But Norm, that thing, the phenomena you're describing, I call air stewardess syndrome, where you're talking to an air stewardess. It's not on a domestic American flight, where it's the aged come shuffling towards you with a fistful of crap. No, it's like a transatlantic flight where the stewardesses still retain some sort of, hey, it's the 60s style glamour. You chat them up, they come to your hotel later, but they're no longer the glorious creatures that were pottering up and down them aisles, all sort of trim and twinkly and providers. They're now wearing sort of velour or things like you've described.
I see, right.
It's a real breakdown.
Right.
So I think what we have to analyse is our expectations and the psychological component. What are we looking for in these fleeting sexual encounters, be it in a Trans Am or in an aeroplane?
Well, I thought we were just looking for that 4-second issue.
It's amazing, that 4-second issue, for that 4 seconds, all of that effort, all of that. And look at the disparity between the two selves. Me, either side of the orgasmic canyon, I'm a different man. Before I come, I'm a mighty...
You're Superman.
Dragon Lord. I'll do anything in that situation. But like the other side of that...
Clark Kent.
I'm Clark Kent. I think that those two people, me before sex and after sex, if they were actually two different individuals, they wouldn't be able to live in the same house. But they've got to live in the same head.
That's
so how can we survive with this dichotomy, Norm?
That is
how
very
can
interesting. You know where I noticed that? What do you call the syndrome?
Air stewardess syndrome.
I see that air stewardess syndrome at its most stark at the end of a stripper's set. She'll be crawling towards you and then as soon as the song stops, she's just picking up her underwear. What are you looking at, buddy? You know what I mean? Can't they keep it going?
Ooh, I'm getting my underwear. I'm going back into the locker room. I'm crying inside.
We don't have a lot of time left, but we have
Why
some
don't
questions.
we have time
Well,
left?
I just got word from Danny. We have some questions for Russell because
some questions because mine were no good.
Yeah.
Your questions were great. We've really got to the heart of this.
Strangers' questions are much better.
Let's see what strangers think.
Fascist Bully Girl 13 asked Russell, how much do you love white pizza?
That's a stripper, I think, isn't it?
I don't know what any of those words
Nor do
mean
I.
in conjunction with one another.
We're going to go to the next one.
That's like a poem.
Can we,
We were doing so well.
Well, it was good when it was Norm's question. Russell, what are some advantages or disadvantages comics have compared to when you first started? Gelatinous Cubed.
I wondered about how you started because you don't seem like a typical stand-up, obviously.
Up above pubs. It's like if you're a bit sort of weird and your material is unusual. I mean, luckily I was insulated by alcoholism and drug addiction, so my experimental comedy could survive. I used to do unusual things, release locusts into the room, chuck pig heads into the audience, burning religious texts.
So
Or
real
persuasion.
punk. You were a punk.
I was a punk out there.
But were you influenced by a lot of like we love the two Ronnies and Faulty Towers and all the traditional British classics?
Yeah, I
Or
love
do
the
you-
warmth of those
Right.
people, but like when you get into stand-up, I suppose primarily the greatest practitioners are Americans, aren't they? Like Pryor and
Absolutely.
Lenny Bruce and Bill Hicks. But like a lot of it, yeah, English comedy's right in me. But sort of we were talking before, Norman and I, about sort of Peter Cook and
yeah.
the Pythons.
But I'll tell you
and
something,
stuff.
Peter Cook. I'll laugh every time I see Peter Cook. I
Unbelievable.
can't say that about Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
That's
Or Bill Hicks.
true,
I can't think of
suppose.
one bit he wrote. I mean, yeah, I'll respect it as a pioneer, but
I see.
yeah, but I see what you mean.
But when you started out, so you didn't have a group of stand-ups like stand-ups here. When you start stand-up, I started stand-up 25 years ago, and I had a whole bunch of buddies that did stand-up.
Yeah,
But you were probably more a lone wolf.
I was a lone wolf. I liked wolfing it around. It's solitary. I've always kind of been like that. I think it's a very solitary profession. I know that sort of like a lot of your great American stand-ups, talk about the camaraderie of them. But like for me, before I go on stage, and particularly when I was younger, I was in a state of near panic. I like to just lock myself down and be alone. I would be in gastronomically affected and my head spinning
Well,
out.
here's
Even now.
another way we're alike.
That's right.
Because I suffered from panic attacks until I gobbled a whole bunch of Xanax every time I did it.
Right, that's what
You have
do.
to watch.
That's
You have to
what
listen to "Watching the Wheels" on repeat.
What's that?
The Lennon song. It helps.
Oh yes, I listened to Watching the Wheels Go Round and Round
That's a good
over and
one.
over and over. Because did you like John Lennon?
I love John Lennon, obviously, and that song in particular is a very beautiful song. Well, that was somehow able to soothe you, calm you, put things in perspective.
Yeah, and also I would think, God damn that guy. You know how amazing it is when you see guys like Elvis or him. And so John Lennon, he had the Beatles. Then it was a pop thing. Then it got really like good, and then he retired, and then he came back solo, and then he was good, and then he retired, and then he was thinking, and then he got killed. But he's only 40.
Amazing.
Shocking.
Isn't that amazing?
All of those things happened.
And he was doing all these drugs and visiting your Maharishi guy.
He did a lot, didn't he? He got a hell of a lot done.
Yeah, but that's what reminds me of you. Maybe you wasted some time. I don't know.
Sometime with the drugs.
With the drugs and the
But all of that
the
stuff
ladies.
actually has been very good for generating content, perspective, compassion. It's been a worthwhile experiment, all in all.
Yeah, it seems the questions from the audience has really slowed this thing
Yeah, and
down.
unfortunately, Daniel just gave me word Russell has to go.
Oh, Russell have to go? Where do you have to go?
Unfortunately.
What do I have to do? I don't know. I go home. I've got a
Wednesday, you're doing a performance that I'm going to go see here
cat. Oh,
in
you gotta
Hollywood.
Come and see that. Yeah, I'm
Wait,
doing
at the Largo?
I'm writing a stand-up
Oh,
show. I
no,
couldn't get
no.
Largo's, but
Oh,
I'm
God
doing
damn
a
it.
stand-up show about Malcolm X, Che Guevara, Gandhi, and Jesus, radical revolutionary leaders.
Who are they again?
Fantastic.
Che Guevara, Malcolm X, Gandhi, Jesus.
Yeah.
How are they alike? How are they not alike?
I like
It's
that.
got some good jokes in there.
Oh, that seems
It'd
fancy.
be all right.
Where's that?
Gandhi,
Mm.
Mohandas K. Gandhi. What's the other guy? Jesus.
Che Guevara,
H.
Jesus,
Christ.
out of the Bible.
Yeah, I love Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior.
That's bloody decent of him to have gone through all that for you.
It was.
guy.
You might want to
Soft
eat a
guy.
few less sandwiches during the golf as some kind of thank you. And then Malcolm X, of course.